the current state of IoT adoption by the food industry and its integration along the whole agro-food chain, the benefits of IoT in the sector, and the current innovation opportunities and challenges. Would you please welcome to the stage the speakers, Lucien Essé, Brian Babosh, Rodrigue Bala, and Nadine Khouri. Eliad was supposed to be with us today, but he was not able to make it at the last moment. The moderator of this panel is the one behind the Agri-Food Innovation Hub, AgriTech program, focused on sustainable future using tech and innovation. He has a diversified knowledge in the fields of change management, quality management, operations, as he filled roles in general and regional management in operations, quality, and change management in different industries across 3 continents. Would you please welcome to the stage the Deputy General Manager at AgriTech, Mr. Rami Hushawi.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here today talking about precision agriculture, IoT, and how IoT could really revolutionize the current status of agriculture. I will first ask all the speakers to start by introducing themselves, their knowledge, and then we'll move into the subject matter and start discussing the topic. Let's start with Rodrigue.
Hello, my name is Rodrigue Bala. I'm the chair of the Agriculture Department at the South Paris Faculty of Technology, University of Panama. We're really into multidisciplinarity and everything about smart farming.
Hi, my name is Brian Babosh. I'm the co-founder of FoodCheck, a startup that provides real-time tracking, monitoring, and staff management for food companies. We give them the ability to have an overview of their product wherever they are in the supply chain to reduce food waste and food spoilage.
Hello, my name is Lucien Essé. I'm the founder of Technologies Automation. Technologies is an automation system integrator specialized mainly in food and beverage. We offer solutions for the industry for the data collection from the machines, and we transfer it to the IT level, to the management level, where we create our analytics and reports to help decision makers take wiser decisions and faster decisions to improve productivity and efficiency.
Hello, I'm Nadine Khouri, CEO of Robinson Agri. Robinson Agri is the leading producer of greenhouses and irrigation and potable water pipes. We also supply seeds and products for the agriculture. Just recently, 10 years ago, we started a nursery. We can call it a smart nursery because we introduced humidity, artificial light, and artificial climate. And recently, 4 years ago, we started with automated greenhouse with sensors to know the humidity, the evapotranspiration, and the temperature of the soil.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Our first section of the panel will be touching upon identifying the scene of technology application in the agricultural value chain. We want to discuss what is happening in the landscape. Eli, who couldn't make it with us today, was a specialist from Nokia. But Lucien also is a specialist. Lucien is also part of our Agri-Food Innovation Cluster in Beirut, and is the president as well. And Lucien will tell us a bit about the different applications of IoT and digital transformation application in the agro and beverage processing plants, where you have the most expertise across the region, their benefits to the industry and the end user, and you will highlight the market needs in the region and the opportunity to establish new startups addressing digital transformation challenges.
Correct. Whether we are talking about IoT or Industry 4.0, this is all referring to the digital transformation that's happening to our industry. So first, let's answer the question, why do we need digital transformation? I want to start by a question, like, did you know that the OEE for food and beverage industries in average globally is 60%? For those who don't know OEE is the overall equipment effectiveness, means the production efficiency, roughly speaking. So our food and beverage industry is globally operating at 60% efficiency. Someone might think, okay, 60%, about 50%, okay, we passed. But it's not the case at all. How can we interpret 60% OEE or 60% efficiency? If we want to explain it bluntly, let's say that we have 4 factories. One of these factories should have not been constructed. So if I'm a business owner, or if I'm a big industry operating in F&B, and I have 3 factories and I'm receiving more demand from the market, and I want to satisfy this demand. Imagine the amount of effort and time and money that I will be saving if I focus on increasing my efficiency from 60% to 80% instead of building a 4th factory. Now, to do so, we need the digital transformation. Okay, so the digital transformation helps the industrialists to monitor the efficiency and one of these applications. So it allows us to monitor our performance and act on the bottlenecks for improving this performance. Okay, how can we start improving? To start improving, we have to know our losses first. We have to identify our losses. And maybe our losses are coming from quality defect losses, quality rejection, energy losses, and above all, it's time losses. Time losses are crucial if you want to improve our efficiencies. For us at Technologics, we have worked on projects with clients that operate at 45% OEE. So you can imagine that most of more than half of the time is being lost. From experience, we can say that 45% efficiency is easy to improve, because improving efficiency from 45% to 60%, mainly it comes from operator negligence. So we don't need a lot of tools, we don't need like rocket science to improve efficiency from 45% to 60%. We just need simple measures, simply by collecting the machine information like machine speed, machine counters, alarm analysis, or machine statuses. With this information, if we create the right data records and data logging, we will be able to build our reports and analytics. And from this analytics, we can identify the bottlenecks and take the decision. For example, I can go to my operator and say, okay, you're running the line at 50% of the speed. This is not acceptable. Or why is the cleaning taking you 4 hours instead of 2? I can even go to my maintenance team and say, okay, I made this alarm analysis for the couple of months, and we have the same error being repeated for 10 times. So you're not doing your maintenance job as you should. These simple measures are not very expensive to implement, and it can easily lift our efficiency and reduce our losses, our time losses. And time, we all know that time is money. If we want to further improve our efficiency, we will need more advanced tools. And we hear a lot when we talk about IoT, we hear a lot about machine learning and artificial intelligence, AI. This is where we use the predictive models to be able to identify losses or predict failures before they happen. Now, this is a tricky field. We have some developed applications. I think in the previous panel it was discussed. Some applications are already tackled and sold. For example, for pumps and compressors, we have ready-made tools that allow us to predict failure before it happens and avoid catastrophe. But in some other applications, more related or more specific for industry, we still don't have these tools. So it's one of the sensitive topics to be tackled. And we can still talk about a lot of topics, but I understand that time is limited. We have more tools for energy management, energy monitoring, and production planning. All of these fall into the category of planned digital transformation. Before I wrap up, let me just highlight about one topic related to job creation. A lot of people look at the digital transformation as a job killer. We all fear that in the future some people might be kicked out of their jobs because of the transformation that's coming on. Perhaps it might be true for some low labor applications, but let's look at the bright side. All of the solutions that are created by the digital transformation are meaningless if we don't have analysts and engineers that are responsible for monitoring the plant. We have new fields of specialization that are required in the new jobs of today and tomorrow. We need more data analysts, we need more data scientists, and this will create more job opportunities in the future. Another thing to finalize with is the digital transformation startups. There's a lot of opportunities for startups. As I said, that digital transformation is still in the early phase, and we have a lot of applications that has not, or challenges that has not been tackled so far. So here I can address the new graduates. If you have a brilliant idea and you think that it might solve a certain task, don't hesitate to transform it into a startup. And who knows, perhaps instead of applying for a job or for a multinational company, you can establish your own startup, and this same company might become your client or even your partner in the future.
Lucien, thank you so much for this insightful feedback. So, few learnings is that the future is still filled with opportunity for people. Efficiencies in the production is still needed. We're sitting at 60%, and that's probably at the agro processing side. If we look at the farm and the way from the time they produce the crops to the time it reaches the factory, there are losses as well there. Thank you so much again. We'll move next to Nadine. Nadine is the CEO of Robinson Agri, and Nadine is also very active in pushing innovation forward in the Lebanese scene. She's the president of Lebanon Agri-Food Innovation Hub. She also sits on a number of boards. Nadine, you've been following up on the scene in Lebanon. You're looking at agriculture and how agriculture needs to be transformed. Can you tell us a bit more about the current status of the use of technology and IoT in Lebanon, and what are the potential opportunities that agriculture, horticulture are needed, and how precision agriculture could change the status of the sector in Lebanon?
Applying technology in the agricultural industry in general is called now the third green revolution. Although it's very new in Lebanon, but we are starting to follow this trend. Because the global population is set to touch 9.6 billion by 2050. So to feed this much population, the farming industry must embrace the smart farming or the IoT. And the IoT in Lebanon and in the world in general has three main pillars: the economy, the society, and the environment. For the economy, the installations, as Lucien mentioned, the IoT devices installation will hit 75 million by 2020, growing 20% annually. And at the same time, the global smart agriculture market size is expected to triple by 2025, reaching 15.3 billion. So you can imagine how much economically for Lebanon, because it is growing the same trend. Although it's very new in Lebanon, but the private sector started the evolution of this smart technology. It started by the hybrid system and by changing the drip irrigation to furrow irrigation. And recently, the real revolution started by the smart irrigation, by the smart agriculture solution. Because farmers simply cannot increase their land in order to grow more crops. So we need the technology to make better use of the space. I can give you the example of Holland. Holland is only 42 square kilometers, the total area, but they are the biggest exporter of fresh vegetables. So why not Lebanon? A lot of examples started to be done in Lebanon. Like the IoT with touch, we can see that there is a new cooperation between the agri-food sector and the tech sector, and this is what we really need. And there is a cooperation between touch and between the IoT for a smart network of smart traps for harmful insects. Chateau Kifraya also with Libabel started the installation of sensors for temperature, humidity, and soil moisture. Also worldwide, Syngenta with Sony started a drone for dual sensor camera. So all of these, we can see that there is a lot of job opportunities because there is a cooperation between agriculture and the tech industries. And I think people are not yet aware about it because agriculture is really important in the field and we need you because there is not anymore agriculture as it is known. It is tech industries, it is a revolution, so we need all the new startups, all the students to really focus on agriculture's installations and agriculture's IoT. At the same time, at the social level, the consumer need clean, healthy products with minimum pesticides and fertilizer applications. And we need traceability. I know that there is a new startup here with us today who's working really on traceability because we really need to know what we are eating exactly. And we need the power of data because the end consumer like to have the details about the nutritive values of what we are consuming. And because of the climate change and its linked to the social responsibility, we are all concerned about the impact of many business operations of our surrounding, among which agriculture, which is high impact on natural resources. So using smart farming is really decreasing the environment, is keeping the natural resources of the environment. Do you want me to talk about the challenges?
Yes, if you don't mind, Natalie.
So why I need you, all of you, we need you as an agriculture sector. We have a lot of challenges. We are trying to implement smart farming, but we are finding some challenges. Mainly, it is based into two criteria, the technical challenge and the financial challenge. The technical challenge, as Christian said, we need the brain, we need the data analytics, because they should be the core of every smart agriculture solution, and yet we don't have enough data analytics in Lebanon. And we need the hardware. We need exactly the sensors that can work in Lebanon, because the quality is really crucial. It will depend on the accuracy and on the collected data. The maintenance, so we need also technicians, because the maintenance in the agriculture is different from the normal sensors abroad, because they can be easily damaged, because most of the time they are outside. And the mobility. Smart farming applications should be tailored for use in the field. So we need special drones, special robots, to be easy to handle, especially that Lebanon is not a big country. So we have small lands, so the robots needs to operate really in a smart way. And finally, the infrastructure, because we need really properly secure system for not anybody to break it. This is from the technical view, and from the financial view, we need a lot of subsidies, Rami. We need a lot of incentive and financial support. And we need to research centers, we need the governments really to operate, and we need the cooperation between the public sector, the private sector, and the startups. Because if we don't have this cooperation together and the universities, we cannot move forward.
Thank you so much, Nadine. That was very insightful. I think some of the problems that you have highlighted are being slowly digested and integrated in some of our programs, or at least being thought of. Dr. Rodrigue Barha is the chairman of Agriculture at Development University and Isan Vice Institute in Akkar, where agriculture is core to the economy of the region. You've been heavily involved in several value chain assessments. You've been heavily involved in understanding what is the future need of youth, whether it's in agriculture or technology. Tell us a bit more, Rodrigue, how do you see the future for the human resources in agriculture? Where do you see the programs going? How do we see the future of the sector in the hands of the future generations? As academia, tell us a bit more about what's happening on the ground and what are the things that we need to improve going forward.
Thank you, Rami. I will start by borrowing a sentence from Jean-Paul Sartre. Agriculture is dead. Actually, he said God is dead. Today we're saying agriculture is dead. We're saying that classical agriculture has been dead for the last 20 years. The whole wide world was moving forward while we were staying right where we are. And now listening to Nadine, I really understand the needs of the private sector and the need for academia to open their ears and listen to their needs and to provide programs to cater to these needs. So I will start by telling you a little about our own experience. At the San Francisco Faculty of Technology, we were based on the IoT program in France. And currently, we have 5 different departments. So we have mechatronics, telecommunications, agriculture, civil engineering, and business management. So these are really different programs. However, what's really interesting, the experience that we had through the last 7 years, is the interdisciplinarity. And really, this interaction between these 5 programs allowed us to think in a very, very different way. So we have been also evolving through our ways of thinking and through our proposed programs and curriculum. So I will be talking about 4 different axes which helped us through the last few years. First of all, we have tried to concentrate on applied research. It's really important to work on providing new pesticides, to work on small enzymes, etc., etc. But in the Lebanese agricultural ecosystem, what is needed is really some applied research. So this is why we push first our professors, and second, our students, to go through this direction. So last year, and the years before, we have had some interesting projects, thesis projects, like automated greenhouses. We have made prototypes of functional automated greenhouses, just like what Nadine was talking about. We have been able to make with our students farm robots. The first kind of farm robot is a hand, okay, that is specialized only in sowing and in irrigating. It has more of a pedagogic, of a teaching, of educational value, okay, and it works on both railways. And eventually, we have started to provide our students with very multidisciplinary theses. So you can see in some theses, students from the mechatronics department and others from the agriculture department, and sometimes from the business department to provide a solution, a viable solution for an actual problem. So it really has started changing the academic approach. Recently, we have acquired a grant from Ile-de-France. It was 100,000 euros for a mobile lab, which is pretty novel. But what we have included in this mobile lab is high-tech products, such as NIR mounted on an NIR camera mounted on a drone. So we are able to analyze the health of the crop. The second component was a farm robot, a second farm robot. But what was more interesting even is that we have received an exchange student from France. So we transferred the money to the researchers of the student who work with our students as well, and provided a prototype for a farm robot. But this time it's a movable farm robot with sensors and data collection and eventually IoT. Next month, we will be joined by another French student to work on the software. So with the same amount of money, the same grants, we were able to redirect them into really reinventing ourselves, to have a new identity towards smart farming. Now in June, we have also acquired a unique program, Mobility International. So a delegation of 4 professors will be visiting Paris in June. And instead of attending classical seminars, etc., we will be going to study the potential of having our own fab lab at the Faculty of Technology. Of course, we have been collaborating a lot with Rami and Veritech. We will certainly be collaborating with Veritech's fab lab. So this is just really a point of view, a different point of view. Many of the professors here may think that it's probably a crazy idea, and it probably is. But if we don't start the change, us as academia, then we are not doing our real jobs. So really we have 3 recommendations, or 3 levels of recommendations for academia. If we really need to catch up, to really become in sync with what's going on around us. We've had enough of having money for services in Lebanon and other sectors, which is great, by the way. But there's an excellent potential for agriculture in Lebanon, both qualitatively and quantitatively. Especially if we can work on smart technologies, and if we can develop smart technologies. So the first step would be inside every university to increase the collaboration between different faculties, provide different majors and minors in smart farming, etc., etc. So it will start with an internal process to start changing how we look at things. We can also provide what's called a diploma universitaire, which is 1 or 2 years, and is provided for people with different backgrounds, for electrical engineers, for agricultural engineers, etc., etc. But it would be based on the market's needs. The problem is that we are not providing really what the market needs. And this is what Najim was talking about. So this is, we say in French, la sonnette d'alarme. If you don't listen to it, really we'll be providing our graduates with cadeau empoisonné. So we really need to move forward with this. It's very important also because universities do have grants, they do have access to grants. It's really important to start redirecting the grants towards applied research. Applied research. We need to help the farmers. We need to help the sector through these grants. The second level would be, and this is a really touchy subject to talk about, is the collaboration between universities. We all know that universities have their own competitions between them. So what's really interesting would be to have some sort of collaboration, and we've already started that with DMATAR and UB and the other universities, but really slowly, to form a sort of several, either one consortium or several consortium. This consortium will provide a backup for any donor, for any public sector who needs to set up the 5 or 10 years policy. He would lean on this consortium to provide them with real-time and really relevant information, relevant data. Because we've been also working, especially in the Accra region, with many NGOs and with many projects. The problem is that many of the projects are overlapping. They're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And they're doing the same vocational trainings again and again and again. So this amount of money, when it's channeled through or with the help of this consortium, will be provided in a much more relevant manner, in a much more efficient manner. And in this case, every university has its own advantage. So really, there's no need for competition. Every university will provide what it could, its advantages to this consortium. The final level would be really to set up a cluster which is really larger than this. I'm talking about public-private sector. I'm talking about local and international donors. So this kind of cluster, or this kind of collaboration, would lead eventually to technological platforms. Technological platforms could be based in universities or not, but could also be supported by the public sector, by the private sector, for the private sector. So when we set up continuous learning programs according to the public sector, to the private sector's need, then our students who will be graduating in 3 years or 5 years, they know that at the end of this of their graduation, they will have a job waiting for them. We don't even have to wait for 3 years or for 5 years. So these are also programs that would be specially tailored for the needs of the private sector. And not only for Lebanon, but for the surrounding countries as well. Because we have, as academia in Lebanon, we have a lot of experience on that level. And what's more important is when we have this kind of institution or cluster or whatever you want to name it, we will have a lobby. What's really needed in Lebanon is some lobbying towards the redirection of the funds, external funds, internal funds, to put some pressure on making the needed laws, on having more grants, on redirecting the donors' grants into the right directions. This is definitely a long road, but this is what we do as academia. We don't plan for a year or 2 or 5. We plan ahead. This is our responsibility. So, if classical agriculture is dead, it is our responsibility to give birth to smart agriculture. That's it.
Thank you so much, Lee. Thank you so much, Nadine. I think when we're looking at that triple helix of private sector, public sector, and academia, we can really, if we look at the opportunities that are there in the private sector to revive it, and you highlighted already the region. And I think yesterday I received a tweet from the Emirates that they put 1 billion dirhams into a fund for agriculture technologies that will employ 2,900 people in the Emirates. So that's just the Emirates. look at the other areas in the region where agriculture is needed, look at the populations in the region, especially in the MENA region, which has one of the largest growing populations. Those people need to eat, they rely on food security, they import a lot of their foods. And what we see happening in embargo, like in Qatar and others, there's a big awareness around the region that food security is crucial and they need to develop technologies for their opportunities. We have always been leaders from Lebanon who are able to go and implement new technologies, new methodologies. Let's look at engineering, computer science, and agriculture together. Let's identify those programs where it's collaborative. Let's look at applied research for clients that are linked to us or the Gulf and make a difference. I'm sure when academia opens its ears to the private sector, when the private sector opens up to academia to put their challenges in their hands and look at opportunities, there will be opportunities for all our youth to be adaptable to the needs in the market, and they will be able to create their own jobs and support the future of jobs in agriculture. Great. Moving on to Brian. Brian, you were a student at the ESI, at the School of Engineering of UHG, but you have went through a transformation journey, not a digital one, but a personal one with your team. Tell us a bit more about how you use your knowledge in technology and your studies in technology to look after a problem in the sector, and how are you building up? Tell us a bit about the story of food.
Thank you, Rami. So 8 months ago, I was just a student here at the university. My teammates and I decided to join a competition. We created a small prototype. And then we took this prototype to the AgriTech Hackathon. Right there, we met with one of the leading companies in processed cheese, the Group Bell. They had a problem. They needed a solution to track and monitor their products across the whole supply chain. Well, we're a team of engineers. We didn't know anything about food or supply chain, but just talking with them, we knew what the problem was, and we decided to fix our prototype and try to do something that solved their problem. After the AgriTech Hackathon, we then met with them again, and we had a clear conversation to know what they were looking for exactly. We then applied to the AgriTech program, and we were accepted. We started our market research just to see what the problems were in the market. We interviewed more than 15 different food companies in Lebanon. They all had the same problem. They didn't know any information about their products after delivering them. So in order to solve this problem, we created FoodCheck, a real-time tracking, monitoring, and stock management solution based on IoT sensors in the whole supply chain, collecting data and sending it to our web server, where the company would be able to monitor its products in the supply chain and know if any problems occur with them. We also surveyed more than 300 people, and we noticed that consumers tend to blame the brand in case of spoilage or poisoning. So we can see that having a complex supply chain could mean that the trust between the companies and the consumer isn't there, because if any problems happen, the consumer directly blames them, and the company doesn't have enough data about this product until the consumer goes and tells them. And this is damaging the brand image. Our solution would give them the ability to know the exact conditions and locations of their products wherever they are in the supply chain. So if any problem occurs, they can directly remove their product from the market before it reaches the consumer, thus increasing the trust and reducing food spoilage. We were also accepted in the second phase after finishing our market research. We went into the accelerator where we had to learn everything related to business, and it's all new to engineers like us. It was anything related to sales, marketing, finance, and raising capital. All this knowledge was helpful to continue developing our startup and finalize our first prototype, where we tested with the Group Bell, with the distributor here in Lebanon. They agreed to be our first tester and potential customer. Now, after doing this test, we noticed a couple of things that needed to be improved. We met with them, we showed them the results. They were happy about it, but they needed more than just monitoring. I mean, it's fine to do the monitoring, like you just put the sensor, you can read the data, and it's good to do this. But what we're trying to provide is more than that. We're trying to gather all this data and do analytics about it to provide them with risk analysis so they could know if problems would occur in the future, they would be able to become proactive and take appropriate measurements. This would be very helpful to reduce food waste. After conducting our market research, we noticed that $63 billion is the amount of money food companies lost on spoiled food in 1 year only. I mean, if the companies aren't willing to implement technologies in their supply chain and try to keep track of their products wherever they are unable to reduce this waste because they don't have means to do it, especially with complex chains like if you manufacture outside of Lebanon and being shipped and transported from distributor to wholesaler, there are a lot of warehouses food goes through, and there is not much control by the companies since these are third parties. And we also met with the chief growth officer of the group. She flew to Beirut. She heard our pitch, and she was very happy about the solution we are providing. I mean, we're tackling a pain point that has been there for many years. We all heard of crises happening in Lebanon, brands being damaged, people being poisoned because of spoiled food, and the companies wouldn't know about it until the consumer tells them they need to go back and check where he bought the product from, and they don't have actual real-time data just to base their to know where the problem occurred really. Now, we're currently at the third phase, trying to finalize our product, the hardware and the software, to be able to start selling it by the third quarter of this year. The solution is actually very simple. We just need to put a tag on the products, and these tags will monitor the product in real time. We would know the exact temperature and humidity of the products wherever they are in the supply chain, and this data is being collected by our readers and sent to the dashboard. Now, as students, we didn't know anything. I just said we didn't know anything about agri-food. Now, especially engineering students, we just tend to focus on technology and developing solutions. We do different projects in the university, but we just finish the project and move on. We never seen that these projects could be helpful to solve real problems that are available in the market. And as Rafiq just said, that maybe partnering with students from other faculty, this would be very helpful. They could show us where the problem is, and we could provide technology in order to do the solution for them. We work on different projects, we learn a lot about technology, but the mentality just knowing the students, we just think that we want to finish our studies and just go get a job because we're good at technology, we're going to work with it. We never think that we have the potential and the opportunity to develop a technological solution and use it in the market to solve real-life problems. And knowing very different students right here in the university, I can assure you that a lot of us are able to do so and implement the solution. We just need the mentorship, the help from mentors and teachers in the university to tell us how to pivot the solution or how to use our knowledge in technology in order to solve the problems, or just do some research in the market. Even in sectors we never thought about, there are many problems that just need engineers and technology to be solved. There are also different accelerator programs in Lebanon that would help students. Some students would think, yeah, it's difficult, we need funding, we need mentorship. There are programs and the ecosystem is growing in Lebanon. There are different products that would be helpful. As engineers, we never thought that we'd do something like that before joining the AgriTech program. After joining them, we met with several experts in business, agri-food, even in technology, who helped us a lot by just telling them where to look exactly. I mean, we're students, we don't have the experience to know how to do things, but there are a lot of people right here in Lebanon who want to help young people to succeed and just improve their solution and be able to help solve problems in Lebanon. So I encourage students just to start thinking this way and stop thinking only that they need a job after finishing. You can create your own job and start your own company and be helping the country by solving different problems that are available in the market.
Thank you so much, Brian. That's wonderful. If I am to collect Brian's input, I think Brian he represents a lot of the youth that are in universities. The fact that he mentioned that they do learn the technology in the university, they do learn how to apply, programming or whatever on certain project, but real life experiences, real life challenges are important. Case studies are crucial to be done. And engineering and technology, as it was mentioned, data analyst, data scientist, computer scientists, mechatronics, mechanical engineers are needed for the futures of work. Having said that, and having heard different perspectives from different players, I invite the audience to interact. So we'll start first with questions. Anybody has questions for the panel? We have one there. Is there a microphone and one there after? So who has a mic? Okay. First mic.
Yeah, this is for the food check for Brian. When you looked at the research, is there a certain type of food, like let's say dairy or produce or meats or cheese? What would be the type of food that has the most spoilage along the track? So you talked about the food waste, the volume of food waste. So is there a specific type that you're going to focus on first, or just all foods? And are they amenable to the tagging? Are all of the types of foods just as amenable to the tagging that you're talking about for food check?
Thank you for the question. Well, as a startup, we're starting our main focus on daily food because we secured our first tester and we saw the need in the daily market and also in Lebanon and in the MENA region. So basically the tag it can be applied either on daily food or meat or chicken or any related food. It just depends on what are the things that you want to monitor. In daily food, I guess the most important things are temperature and humidity. Some other food, you might need to monitor the light or other aspects. Now we're starting with daily, and I think the meat would be similar to daily, and it's just a matter of what are the things you want to monitor, but it all works the same way because it's all one supply chain, you're shipping it in the same way, just the different things are the shelf life of the product and what are the things you want to monitor.
Thank you. May I ask the person who's asking the question to present themselves, their name and maybe what they do?
Ziad Bastani, CEO of SLAS. First, I would like to congratulate you on the idea and on the initiative that you're talking about with your colleagues. It's a very nice project. Then I would like to elaborate on the technical aspect of the project. First, do you intend to put it in every product produced, in every box, or is it just for a specific lot or production lot? And second, is it battery operated? Can you elaborate on this technical aspect? And how much will it cost? How much will it add on the product? We are talking here about consumer products. Thank you.
We're still looking into the hardware, finalizing the hardware, as I just said, in this phase. We're still looking into what is the exact type of hardware we're going to use. But the basic concept is you have the small packs, like let's say the pack of Latin, and you have the box where these packs are stored in. So you can either put the tag on the small box, or on the, on the small pack, or on the box containing the packs. It depends on the cost you are willing to pay and on the cost of the product. So the thing is, it works the same. If you put the tag on the small pack, you'll be able to monitor each and every single pack. However, if you put it on the box, you're just monitoring the box, but you can map it and you can know that which exact packs are in this box. The temperature wouldn't be different between the packs and the box, so you can do the correlation. As for the price, we don't have an actual price right now. We're still doing our analysis and financials, but by the end of April, we should have the hardware. We have the hardware ready, and we're running another test with Agrofood to finalize our numbers, and we will get back to you right now.
Any other questions?
Yes. Hello, Halan Troubi, Finance and Management Consultant. I have a question. We're talking about the challenges as well. Maybe Mr. Christian could tell us if we are ready culturally in Lebanon, culturally, as in culture, private sector culture, businesses, and so on. Are we ready to adopt these technologies? Do you think, maybe we all know that we have a family businesses concentrated companies. So that's the question. And good luck, Brian, with your idea.
Thank you for your question. Actually, it's a main point that you tackled. One of the main challenges that we are facing when we present our solutions to the industry is this specific point. It's the mentality, it's the mindset of people. We still don't know, or we don't understand the real value of information and having this information on time. Normally, when we go to a business owner, the first reaction will be, okay, I have a manager, so you're asking me to replace my manager by the software. So what will my manager do? So this is a normal reaction. But when we started introducing this issue like 5 or 8 years ago, we used to have this kind of reaction. But what I can say for now, especially for multinational companies, where you have a lot of pressure from the headquarters, we have pressure on business owners and on managers to implement this kind of technology because it has been widely implemented in Europe and in the West. And we've started seeing it coming to Lebanon and to our area, and we can say that we have implemented a lot of applications in Lebanon, and it's just a wave, and it has just started. So yes, we are getting ready.
We'll take 2 more questions. So we have a gentleman there, and there was somebody at the end. Oh.
My question was similar to the guy about the
Can you introduce yourself, please?
I am Sebade Bastian, music composer.
Okay.
I was going to focus on the animal rights issue and the halal and kosher slaughter. Is it possible to work on that still, even if it's not private?
What's the question?
The question is it possible to deal with that situation culturally?
Culturally?
Like, for example, halal slaughter is being banned in most of European countries, and including also kosher, which is the Jewish way.
Okay.
And the animal rights issue. Are you also taking care of watching how the animals being slaughtered or being raised?
If I may answer, technology, like anything else, could be used for good or for bad. And I think this is where the ethics in businesses and the direction of the business leaders would take us in which direction. So animal rights have been taken care in some places and have been abused in others. And probably technology could be used if it's enforced by a third party to be able to trace how those animals have been raised and whatnot. In this panel, I don't think we have anybody who works on ethics and policy. So I don't think we'll be able to answer your questions exactly. But if this is a market need and there is a need to answer to the demands of consumers about halal, kosher, or animal rights, I'm sure people could jump on this opportunity and create a business model that will answer the needs of people, like it is with traceability, like Brian mentioned. Would that answer your question? Yeah. We had one more last question at the back, the lady in the back.
If you want to be scalable,
introduce yourself, please.
Yumna, as a student.
Okay.
If you want this solution to be scalable, there will be a huge amount of e-waste that will be produced. What do you plan to do about the e-waste?
Okay. So that's a question to Lucien, maybe, and Brian. So the question from Lina, isn't it? Lina is in the back. She's saying that if we're going to apply a lot of technology solutions with IoT, we're going to have devices, sensors, and so on that are spread all over the value chain or the solution, that would, at a certain point, become obsolete, and that would generate e-waste. What would be the policy of those businesses in terms of reducing e-waste?
Actually, it's not different from any waste, any other waste issue. We always have a problem with waste. So, and I want to specify it's not creating new sensors or new machines that are just popping up. We're replacing old machines or old technologies with newer. So the same number of machines or the same number of instruments, but the difference is that we're making our machines smarter. I don't think that, I don't have clear figures about it, how much waste will be more produced, but that's my first impression, that we're not creating more waste, but we're just making whatever is existing, we're making it smarter.
And I think if I may add to Lucien, if we go back to the discussion of Lucien talking about efficiencies and the fact that we are at 60% efficient in the agri-food processing and so on, even agriculture production from farm to fork, if we are able to use electronic devices and sensors to monitor and improve the productivity, I think if you're looking at an economical or an environmental balance of the cost of waste versus the production and how can you save on the environment, I think we will be more on the positive side of doing good to the planet than on the negative side. So I believe that we'll be using technology to improve the whole environmental impact, because sensors could improve the use of fertilizer in farming, which is polluting the things. Sensors could improve the waste of bottling, let's say, in factories that bottle. If there are no sensors that are connected and improving on the bottling, there will be a lot of wasted bottles or whatever that will be discarded at a certain point. So I believe that the e-waste component is the lowest of concern when it comes to looking at the overall environment.
If I add the sensor, for example, for monitoring the quality of milk, and the weight of the sensor is 100 grams of e-waste. You can imagine the number of, or the tons of milk that I will be saving from scrap. Okay, then I can neglect the 100 grams that the sensor will generate after 10 years.
Great. I will wrap up the session. I think we passed time. So I would like to go back to a few highlights of the session. Agriculture is one vertical that will definitely need solutions in IoT. The Industry 4.0 is an industry that tackles many sectors, from transportation to energy to agriculture and so on. This panel talked about agriculture, and we talked about in this panel about the opportunity for young people in different faculties, different sectors, and their future. We asked academia to open their ears and be open to collaborate across departmental and faculties and across universities. We thought that the private sector is hungry for change, but sometimes don't know how to do it or is interested to do it, but there is a need to push more. Nadine talked about potential grants and support. Rodrigue talked about cluster or mega clusters that will help create more synergies and push the sector forward. We've highlighted the fact that not only Lebanon as a market requires IoT, but the region as a whole, and agriculture as a sector needs a revolution. And the current agriculture practices are dead, and the smart agriculture or the precision agriculture is the future. Brian is a particular example of young people from this campus who started as a student with an idea with his colleagues and now sees the future for his own jobs and the jobs that he will create for others, expanding himself into the future on how this experience through an accelerator like Agritech could help him. And Christian have also highlighted how the sector that is still inefficient could use you as participants, as future leaders in the sector to move forward. With that, I wrap up and invite people who are here to join Agritech in its ideation and idea fund sessions that will happen in Lebanon. We have one in Jdeil, in LAU in 2 weeks, and one in Bekaa in 4 weeks from now, where we are tackling challenges in water, agriculture, renewable energy, and waste. So you're all invited to come and ideate with us and start your own startup with us as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rami Abujamdi, and all the speakers of this panel. If you are tweeting about the event, please use the hashtag IoT and you are not, so please do it. We want to be trending today and use the hashtag IoT The second panel discusses the requirements to design and build intelligent things with communication capabilities, the existing capabilities in Lebanon to design and produce IoT devices and deployment challenges. I would like to call up on the stage our next speakers, Joseph Abulala, Elias Boucharani, Ziad Bustani, and Fadi Daw. Rassan Beydoun was supposed to be with us today, but he couldn't make it at the last moment. The moderator of this panel was awarded 2 patents on his work on smartphone radio interference and received Novelty of the Year award at the International Solid State Circuits Conference in San Francisco. He occupied various positions in the industry and is an assistant professor at the Faculty of Engineering, USJ. Mr. Ryan Mina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. On behalf of Azir, I'd like to thank everyone, and I appreciate you all being here today for this outstanding panel entitled IoT Devices. Without further ado, this is how we are going to proceed during the next hour. Following a brief introduction of our distinguished guests, I'll give a short speech to set the panel's scope and explain a little bit about our motivations before leaving the floor to the experts. I also suggest we take small Q&A time slots in between the talks to allow you to interact with the guests in a very, let's say, direct way. So while you still have fresh questions in mind. So we're not going to wait till the end to open up the debate. Great. Allow me first to welcome Fadi Daw. Fadi is founder and chief executive officer of Multilane, a leader in the development of high-speed instruments and interconnect test modules for speeds as high as 100 gigabit per second. Multilane hosts a unique technology park in Lebanon, offering incubation and training for professionals in the field of microelectronics. I'm sure Fadi will tell us more about this first of its kind achievement in Lebanon. I'm happy to introduce as well Elias Boucharani, CEO of Automatics Group and Chief Design Officer at Novatech, a technology firm for advanced product design in both electronics and embedded systems. Novatech expertise can transform a creative idea into a feasible product by assisting customers, starting from simulation to the final packaging of your product. I'm also honored to have among us Joseph Abouloula, lead IoT expert at CME, a multinational company with a diversified portfolio of services ranging from software to hardware. CME has implemented, among others, an end-to-end food care IoT system with a well-known restaurant chain. Joseph will share this successful experience with us, I'm pretty sure. And at last, I'd like also to express our warm welcome to Ziad Bustani, founder and CEO of SANS, a Lebanese leader in industrial control and monitoring systems, specialized in the market of lifts and generators. Ziad will tell us more on how IoT may fit in this specialized market segment. Great. Internet of Things is maybe with 5G the top trending topic currently in the ICT sector. In this panel, we will be focusing on the thing within the IoT, the device itself. We will not tackle the aspects related to the IoT infrastructure or network, or even applications. As you know, stated very simply, IoT is about connecting objects together. It is the expansion of the internet concept to non-computing devices, such as cars, boats, screens, air conditioners, even toasters and ovens in the kitchen. One legitimate question is, what's an IoT device? Virtually, it's any object that is enabled with three main capabilities. First, a set of sensors to extract useful information from the object's operation and environment. Then a light microcontroller to process the extracted data. And finally, a set of wireless transceivers to connect the object to a network. So if you add on top of any existing object at least one sensor, one wireless transceiver, and a microcontroller, you end up having your IoT device. We are gathered today to bring answers to some relevant questions, such as, what do I need to design my own IoT device? What skills are required, and what technologies are available to use? Can we manufacture IoT devices in Lebanon? If this is the case, which industrial player to contact? And finally, what are the challenges faced during the manufacturing of an IoT device? We will try to tackle as much as possible three main constraints: size and power consumption. These two are related a lot to the number and types of sensor you would like to put within your IoT device. And also the packaging constraints, which are very much related to the working environment of your object. Suppose, for example, you have an IoT device that is measuring the pollution in a river in Lebanon. You need to have a waterproof enclosure for this device. And if your device is measuring pipe pressure in the desert, you need to make your packaging sealed and immune against intrusion from sand particles. That's about it. I think I've talked too much. It's about time we leave the floor to the experts. Fadi, we'll start with you. Welcome again. It's a big pleasure to have you with us. Please go ahead. Fadi, I'll give you a mobile mic.
Instead of talking about IoT, and I will effectively talk about IoT incubation and what we're offering, I'm going to give an overview of what we're doing. And primarily to say it's possible to build state-of-the-art technology and products from Lebanon and export products and technology to the global market. My story, just in very simple terms, I repatriated to Lebanon 12 years ago. I had a great team working with us. before we came back to Lebanon, especially. And since then, we are focusing on a niche market in a global industry that is focused primarily on optical interconnect, optical networking, optical infrastructure, and semiconductor industry. The sub-market segment that we address, which is semiconductor testing or testing application, is a multi-billion-dollar market. It's a small niche market in a global industry that is very large, $1 trillion. So we started multi-lane, and multi-lane is based in Hamel, about 20 minutes from here. We have today in Hamel 85 people working as engineers. And we have offices in Silicon Valley, we have offices in Taiwan, and we just have a technology office that we started in Stuttgart. So all in all, we're over 100 people today as a company. We have developed and released upwards of 200 products that we export from Lebanon to the global market. Our market is in Japan, China, Korea, Taiwan, all around Europe. We sell products to all the developing countries, especially also in the US. We're still in a very early growth phase of the company. And for the past 7-8 years, our sustainable compounded annual growth rate is between 70 and 80%. We're the fastest growing market developer in the industry in the products that we develop. Our customers are Google, Facebook, Apple, Inphi, Intel, Broadcom, Sony, Huawei, everyone in the world, over 500 customers. So it is possible to build products from Lebanon. And now we've developed a campus, or are developing a campus. It's about on a lot of 24,000 meters. The built-up area is upwards of 22,000 meters of built-up area. Within that campus, there are clean rooms, labs, R&D labs, light production facility, instruments more than you have in all Lebanon combined. We have hundreds of test and measurement equipment that is used, and we have a great working environment in nature. This is right here in Kuwait. One thing that we're putting together is an academy, applied training center, mainly to offer complementary training to the young graduates who graduate from engineering, to give them the added or needed technology or product know-how so they can develop products that are world-class or suitable for the global market. So the Applied Training Center is starting soon, probably within weeks, if not months, and we'll be offering ability to develop or design an embedded, to design integrated circuits, primarily to design the whole IC, and we will be building our own ICs as well, to offer work in the signal processing, signal integrity, and core DSP, primarily to build state-of-the-art technology products from Lebanon. Another element of the campus is the incubator. We're starting incubation services and incubation product completely different than others. So prior to saying I have an idea, I want to build a product, we invite the entrepreneur wannabe, and I say wannabe because it's not easy to build a product. It's easy to be an entrepreneur, but to build a company, it's completely different ballgame. So we're gonna be starting an incubation services where we bring the entrepreneur wannabe and we put them through what we call the PLM life cycle, product line management life cycle. They will be intensively trained over a period of at least a year on how to build a product. Maybe working primarily on the focus, but the product life cycle.
Sorry, for at least a year?
It could be, they start working on a product, but the effective training for someone to be able to move needs at least a year. So the PLM life cycle is, how can I develop something on schedule? How can I develop something on budget? How can I work in other teams? What is my go-to-market strategy? What is the competitive analysis? What's the positioning? Effectively, working in a large company
you need many years prior to saying, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I differ with all the opinions of prior panelists with the mindset that we should do it and teach high school students how to be an entrepreneur, because we really are depriving them of a desire to learn and doing other things that is fundamental before them going out in the market and starting a company. Starting a company should not be taken lightly, and I say it because I've started 5 already. 3 of them were venture backed. I've sold 4 of the 5, and I know how hard it is. And even the ones that I've sold, I did not succeed in it, and these were done in the US. So the knowledge, before you start a company, you need to acquire a significant amount of knowledge, which is what we call the PLM life cycle, product life cycle management, or product line management, to learn finances, supply chain, quality of building product, schedules, P&L, go-to-market effectively. So what we're going to be offering, part of the training, we'll be bringing on board what we call entrepreneurs in residence. We already have some people who are starting an IoT project already, working with us, but we're guiding them for the first 6 months. And that person has 10 years of experience in product development, but not sufficient to start a company. Very insufficient to start a company. So we're bringing them on board, paying them a salary, preparing them so he can start a company in 1 year. That's already happening right now. And we bring these on board, as we call them, entrepreneurs in residence. So with this cycle, we're not going to be able to accept anybody and everybody. It's impossible. We want to make sure the companies that we bring on board for incubation are capable and ready, and they have the acceptance of learning so they can be successful. So this is primarily the message I want to share with you. But in reality, I have a bunch of slides and presentations. I just realized it's not the forum for that. But I'd be happy to answer questions, post the panel, to even take some questions right now, and to talk about the technology that we have on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Fadi. I think Fadi, it's a very precise and brief intervention. Thank you a lot. We open a small Q&A time slot. If someone is interested, please.
My name is Ali. I'm a data scientist at Mindsets. We're a strategy and decision advisory firm. Fadi, thanks for your talk, and really interesting company that you're starting here. I have 2 questions for you. One is technical about your product. Can you tell us a bit more about what is it that you're selling? You're doing ICs, chips. Do you do manufacturing here, prototyping, and then you do mass production in China or in Taiwan? How's your business model working here? And 2 is for the incubator that you talked about. Are you doing more of product hardware incubator, or is it open to any other business ideas?
Great question. First, specifically on our products, we build test equipment. The test equipment that we build are intended for the hyperscale data centers. So we test physical layer and optical components. We also have products for testing systems. We also have products for testing the semiconductors, the ICs. Testing the ICs when they are within a wafer, or what's called wafer scale, or when an IC is packaged, or when the IC goes into a line card for a system, or an IC that goes into an optical transceiver that moves the data, and eventually also testing the cables, the DAP cables, or the copper cables that connect the top of the rack switch to the servers. So all in all, I don't know exactly the count, we have over 200 products. We build these products or have them sub-assembled towards assembly in China, as well as in Taiwan. There are a number of factories that build products for us. We bring them to Lebanon, test them in Lebanon, qualify them in Lebanon, and ship them from Lebanon with calibration, serial number, to around the world. And last week we had an exhibit at OFC Design Con. And one of our customers, Juniper, which is bought a public company, multi-billion-dollar market cap. One of their director of test came and stopped by, said, he told me, do you know we have to set around 1 million blue flags that they bought from us, multi-billion products. But in reality, I don't believe we shipped them more than 100,000. So today, multi-lane ships upwards of 7,000 items every month that have 7 serial number that says made in Lebanon. Your second question, focus is the most important thing in what we do. And we want to stay focused. So yes, we only want to focus on technology, not only electronics, but electronics that is relevant to we can bring value. So the incubees that we incubate to help bring to market, not only we want to help them build a product or transition from an idea to a product, we want to help them with the supply chain, we want to help them with the go-to-market. We have our sales people, our sales channels worldwide. We want to leverage that. And that leverage is extremely important. Starting a company is not about starting a product, it's about selling the product and turning profit.
Thank you. We have a room for one more question. Yes, please.
Hi, so my name is Brian. I was on the panel. I'm the co-founder of FoodCheck. I wanted to ask you about your labs. Do you provide access to startups, maybe to do testing or run or do the design in your lab? And I have another question concerning the incubator. Is it at which stage do you get your incubees, like ideation stage or maybe growth? Or what stage do you accept the people in your incubator? And do you provide funding for startups?
Let me answer an unasked question. What is the criteria? So, we invest in people. So we qualify the individual. What's their soul, what they're made of, what do they want? Why are they doing it? And we train them, we take them on board, and we help them move forward. And since we are investing a lot more than money or give them access to an instrument, we are investing in them to prepare them to move forward. So, hence the selection criteria, we invest in people. Will we provide funding? Of course. Not only we provide funding, but it's a completely different model than any other incubators. Sure, a lot of VCs will come and give you money. But yes, we can participate, go along with the VC round, or even they call us in to go on board. However, I gave an example. There is one person who is an entrepreneur in residence. He came in with 4 business plans for IoT products. We told him it's great, but I don't believe him in these business models. I want to see how you work. So we brought him on board to help him, coach him, build a completely separate product, reporting to the office of the CTO of Multilane. And we gave him market targets, and we want to coach him how to build a product for the global market, especially in technology. We don't believe in local market or regional. It doesn't make sense. The market is way too small. Anything you do, especially in technology, it takes a lot more work, a lot more effort to build a product than what we all think, what we learned at the university. So in order to justify that, we primarily focus on the global market. So that person is an employee today working on a project that's completely independent of what we do. We just give them access to technology, we give them tools, computers, and work under our guidance, build a product that succeeds, you benefit. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I suggest we proceed with Elias. Elias, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, first I present Automatics, which is the official solution partner for Siemens. So we do automation business for infrastructure like oil and gas, water, wastewater, etc. And we use Siemens IoT technologies, and we will have now an expert from Siemens in the next few months. So here we are the user of the IoT. We use this technology, we integrate it to the end client. But from the other side, we have Novatech as a product development firm. It is in the US, we have like a local office here. So we support entrepreneurs or big companies to develop their own product from the initial idea toward the final product manufactured in mass quantities. I will talk more about Novatech and how we can support, but my main point of view is to cover the gap in Lebanon that we have. I'm happy to notice from 2 years ago once I participated in IoT Lab first panel. Till now, I'm noticing more and more startups and more projects in IoT in Lebanon are coming. But I hope we can reach a stage where we will use, like in automatics, we are like the integrator. We will use Lebanese IoT component manufactured here, either to the Lebanese market or to the outside market. So for this, I encourage all of you to invest more in this sector by means of developing a new hardware. So this hardware could be in mass production for consumer product, or could be for specific industrial application or pharmaceutical application, etc. So we can be like a hub to export hardware for the world. I'm very happy to know that Multi-Lane can export from Lebanon, made from Lebanon, such a huge number per year, and also SAS. So we have great success stories for IoT component or electronic hardware that could be exported from Lebanon. And especially that this industry will not require huge power consumption, so we don't have this burden. We just need a good IT infrastructure and our skilled engineers to do all of that. By going back to Novatech, so we support, as I mentioned, either startups, entrepreneurs, or big companies to realize their products. So they came to us with like a global idea. I want to make that. This is my idea. This is my dream. So we start with the initial conception with quick drafts toward real concept and simulation. We support them to have either IP, so to get patents. Maybe start with a patent search, followed by the provisional patent, and finally by the patent. And later on, through the industrial design, so for the shell, the user experience to be more like economic, appealing, etc. To follow after through the electronic design, microelectronics, etc.
Yes, sorry to interrupt you. Regarding the intellectual property patents, you provide assistance in filing the patent, I imagine.
Yes, through the entire process. So we support entrepreneurs to get the patent.
Okay, and
we have patent access policies.
does it have to be in the electronic area, or it could be an intellectual property in any type of products?
It should be in the electronics, so we can add value.
Okay.
Because we tweak it, we know how to get the patents where, what are the pitfalls, etc. Okay. So by going back to what we can support, after the electronics, firmware, embedded programming, etc. And so we are trying lately, maybe the last 5 years, to support entrepreneurs and other stories. We have Slider, they will join in the next panel, the smart lighter, and several other things. So, this is brief.
Before we open up the discussion, I have a starting question. do you have an insight or the information about the number of startups that is growing in Lebanon, specifically in IoT sector? Do you have any idea how many startups are being built?
No, but I'm noticing a lot of improvements. I support like Veritech, Agritech, and some other incubators.
So you believe you are in a boom situation in IoT startups?
But we need more ideas. We need more
innovation.
Solid ideas.
Okay. Thank you, Elias. So guys, I have a good news. We have plenty of time for questions with Elias. Yes, please.
Hello. My name is Gaia Abrahimad. I am a student at Azib, and I would like to ask you a question. I know that I belong to a lucky generation because technology is giving us a huge amount of possibilities. And I often have a lot of ideas to make projects in the IoT field, but I lack experience and knowledge in PCB design or how to make proof of concept or how to build my device. So how would you help young innovators to make their own IoT devices?
We can support you through like sequential coaching. So it could be like in multi-lane through incubation. We don't like incubate, but we can support, we can meet you, we can train you on that. If you have a general idea, and you will bring benefit for the Lebanese economy and social environment.
So for example, one of the approaches to support young innovators like Gaia, for example, is that what if they would like to bridge something that is very creative and, as she properly said, the bridge between something creative and a proof of concept in the industry, this is about, I believe, this is pre-design phase, this is before the design phase. So you could help innovators in, for example, simulations, system simulations, circuit simulations, something, okay. So this has been achieved in the past years.
And don't worry about that, because I was a student and this was a burden for me, how to design a PCB, where I will manufacture it. To be a PCB or not. I remember, Ziad is not so old, but I was like his student. I asked him how to solder a small SMD resistor. So in Lebanon, it's so difficult. I know that, and I have been there. But at the end, you will cross this border. The importance is to build your knowledge, as mentioned, and build it and build it and build it, in order to have the real products that could be sold in thousands of quantities.
Thank you, Elias.
My name is Anthony. I work with Siemens Kitan. Actually, I want to ask Elias a question. When you create a product, you need some standardized, like CE, UL. How can you create operating system manual? And how can you have this? Have here a lab to create the CE mods? You have something like that. Some safety equipment, or some also wireless capability of the system. How can we do some testing, equipment testing?
Yes. As far as my knowledge, we don't have anything in Lebanon. So we usually, it depends on the product. It could be CE, UL, it should have SSC certifications. So for the wireless, for Korea, for Russia, for the US, for Europe, etc. So from our side, we design according to the standards. And all products are subject to certification in labs. And the majority are in the US.
Yes.
Thank you for your introduction, Mr. Yes. Two questions for you. You mentioned manufacturing. So you believe that we can do mass scale manufacturing in Lebanon? It seems that we don't have the whole infrastructure for manufacturing electronics products, and that's why most of the mass scale electronics manufacturing is happening in the East. And I'd be interested in knowing your thoughts on that. And my second question is related to automatics. And you guys do IoT applications based on the Siemens product line. Do you do that for the Lebanese manufacturing companies or the regional market? And how are you seeing the trends in IoT implementations in the market?
Okay, starting with manufacturing, I'm not talking here about wafers manufacturing, chip manufacturing. I'm talking about PCB assembly, further development, deployment, testing, etc. And we have a great example here with SAMS. So they are, you know about them, the big manufacturing plant for electronics exporting to Africa, countries, basically to Europe, Spain, etc. So we can use it. From my point of view, at least if we cannot manufacture everything now, let us make the design here, make here the testing and deployment and export from here. So we can, at the first place, manufacture in China, Taiwan, Vietnam, and make like a thermal download here, testing and export. And at a later stage, if we can reach like as we can do the environments like for automatics, yes, we are noticing a boom in this situation. It's not so good for any investments. So all investors and the public sector are focusing on the core part, not on the automation by itself. But we are not seeing it. And, you can see it like in the water sector. Everybody is standing in connected infrastructure for water. We have certain projects in that sector. Also, mainly oil and gas distribution and supply chain. We have the pharma industry, and we are not limited to Lebanon, so we cover North Africa and also the Gulf.
Thank you, Elias. Okay. Joseph, I think it's your time now. Please.
Hi. Okay, so my talk would be a bit more technical. I'll try to cover the design phase of IoT devices. But before doing that, I guess we should mention a point. IoT is really trendy now, and everyone wants to develop IoT devices or connected devices. But it's important to know that IoT is here to solve a problem. And it's important to analyze this problem. This is what we do, basically for strategy and design. So we start by analyzing the problem, and we start by looking for a solution for it. And after that, we decide if we want to go with developing a connected device or not. So because we're finding a lot of connected devices, everyone's trying to develop his own device. So at CME, since we're able to provide end-to-end solution, some of our solutions will be only software, some other will be only hardware, and some of the solutions will be a mixed solution between software and hardware. And since today we're discussing the hardware aspect of the device, I'll go through the design process quickly. So step one would be by choosing the right protocol for the device that we're using. And choosing the protocol is really important because it will affect all the device and all its life.
You're talking about the communication protocol?
Yes, okay. Communication protocol. So When you start designing the IoT device, it's important to define a protocol based on your needs. So, for example, if you're designing a home appliance, obviously the Wi-Fi will be our first choice for communication because the infrastructure, everyone has Wi-Fi in this place. So we can leverage the existing protocol. But if we're designing, let's say, some type of sensors to go into a factory, so we'll have to come with another solution because Wi-Fi won't be available and the number of devices will be too big. So maybe we can go with something like 6LoWPAN or anything that works the same way. So when designing, when choosing the protocol, we'll start by checking what are the requirements, what are the customer requirements, what are the power requirements in terms of power supply. Are we going to design a battery powered device or a device that's not the outlet? We'll have to take into consideration the regulations where the device is going to be used. So like the frequency band in USA is not the same as the one in Europe, so this has to be taken into consideration. The data rate, how much data we're expecting the device to send and receive. So all these stuff should be taken into consideration. And once the communication protocol is set, we'll move to the next part, which is the mechanical or industrial design. So to cover it quickly, basically we start by doing a set of prototypes that will show the customer the look and feel of the device. We have also taken into consideration the needed requirements. So if you're designing a device that goes outdoor, it should be air-rated. If we have some type of sensors, let's say a temperature sensor, so the device will have openings for this sensor so we can use them correctly. So all this stuff should be taken into consideration. The same thing has to be done when designing the electronics. So size is important, cost is important, the needed certifications are important. If the device is going to be working, for example, in remote areas, we need to make sure the battery lasts for a long time or for enough time before it can be recharged. So the electronics aspect also takes all these stuff into consideration. And after that, we can start prototyping. We'll have to go with 2 or 3 prototypes depending on the customer needs. Sometimes they have back and forth, you have to change a bit in the design and then resubmit your design. So it's a long process. And in parallel, we're working on the firmware. And I believe the firmware is the core of the IoT device because it's the link between our servers and the outside world and the device itself and the user. So it's the main, all the interesting things are happening in the firmware. That's why designing firmware for IoT is a bit different than designing firmware for non-connected devices. You have to take into consideration all the parameters needed for the communication. Usually you go from super loop programming to a based system or something similar. So this has to be taken into consideration while doing the firmware. Also, since the device is connected, it's always beneficial to have the ability to remote update the firmware. And this is where IoT comes in process. So you have to have a bootloader and you have the ability to remote program the device if you want to add some features to it or if you find any bug that you want to fix.
So actually the firmware itself will not be plugged in a ROM inside the device. It will be a firmware that could be updated remotely from your servers.
It will be in the device, but you can replace it at the same time. So instead of having a physical program that will reprogram the device, you can do it through the wireless connectivity that you have, or the wireless connectivity.
So it's a rewritable ROM, or
okay, and of course the last part will be the certification. So as I said, it depends on where you're implementing the device or where you're using the device. The certification can differ from device type to another and from a country to another. The devices that we have worked on have basically US certification, ETL, and SEC certification. And for the ones that go to Europe, we have CE certification also. Some devices that are being used in the food industry are FDA approved. So it depends on what you're doing and the type of device you're using.
Okay, great. Thank you, Joseph. We have plenty of room for questions.
Hello, my name is Rashid Hajjar. I work at Alpha Telecom. My question is about the protocols that you design for communication. What are currently the protocols that are most needed? Are you working something with urban IoT, or are you focused on LoRa, for example, or cell phones? Can you please tell us about that?
As I said, it really depends on the situation. Some of our devices have Wi-Fi connectivity, some other have PIP, for example. We have some devices that communicate over the power line. These are very old, they use the protocol called instrument. So it really depends on what you're doing and where you are implementing your solution. For example, if I'm designing a device that can be used in this faculty, I'll go with LoRaWAN because I know that the infrastructure is there. If I'm designing a GPS tracking device, I'll probably go with 3G because it's a mobile device and internet needs to be available. So it really depends on what we're doing and why we're doing
it. Joseph, thanks for your talk. Really informative. I like your breakdown of design to manufacturing. I have a question that builds on the previous speaker's question. So protocols of communication and interconnectivity across the value chain. Where does that come in your design thinking when you're designing a product? Let me elaborate a bit. So the problem that a typical application is experiencing, let's say I'm a manufacturing plant, I want to become an IoT-enabled manufacturing plant. I want to have all my manufacturing production line on IoT online. So I have 100 different devices that I need somehow to connect and have them talk to each other and then upload relevant information to the cloud. So I can do analysis and so on across the whole value chain. So from a design perspective, as a product designer, is there a set of standards that the industry is looking at in terms of harmonizing all of these different firmwares which are different between devices?
Well, since you're developing your device in this case, so it's easy to choose the communication protocol that suits you. For example, if it's a factory, as I said, we can go with the mesh networking and only have one router that connects to the internet. So that way all the devices will be connected through this router. So in case you're using off-the-shelf components, it's a bit different because you have to make sure that you can communicate with all of these components at the same time. So there's no really one correct answer for this case. It's based on experience and on case-by-case study. For example, if a factory already has an infrastructure set up there, and we can leverage it, so of course it's an advantage to use it. If not, we have to go with something else. So it really depends on the range that you want to cover, on the data rate, on the number of sensors, etc. So I'm not sure if I answered your question. You have other concerns?
More questions? Actually, I do have one, Joseph. I was wondering, there's a lot of, I would say, talking for using IoT in the healthcare area. I was wondering if the customer approaches the CNE and is looking for a specific scenario. I have this idea in mind: a small shock sensor in a car that can detect any mechanical impact during a, God forbid, a car accident, and directly gives a call to an emergency center to send an ambulance. If a customer approaches you for such a specific scenario, what would be the choice of communication protocol in such case? So we're talking about an IoT device that will be plugged in a car, and the car is moving, it could be anywhere.
As I was saying, for example, in this case, 3G would be the best approach because the car is moving, so we don't have a fixed Wi-Fi, for example, or any other infrastructure that's true. We don't know where the client is. So the only protocol that has the biggest range of the biggest coverage will be the 3G in this case. And this is the protocol used in all the GPS tracking systems and fleet monitoring systems. So basically, they all use the 3G for this, or any other data over GSM.
So you'll basically use some kind of off-the-shelf 3G modem or a 3G transceiver.
You will have a data card. Most of the cases, you'll have a data card in the device, and the data card will communicate through the access points of Alpha or Touch, for example, in Lebanon, to your servers.
Okay. Please, yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying I will use mobile phone.
Actually, that was my other.
This can be a solution, but in the case that Ryan was mentioning, if it's something related to health, maybe your phone, maybe you forgot your phone at your home, or maybe you have that battery. So you need to make sure that the emergency notice gets the notification, and this is why you should not rely on a third device, I guess.
Ziad, I would think, for example, of some kind of a redundancy, because this is an emergency situation. So the first thing to do is to contact, for example, through Bluetooth. That's the proposition of Ziad, to contact the smartphone of the person that is driving the car through a low-range wireless system like Bluetooth. And if this is not possible at a certain moment, then we could use a redundancy with the own 3G modem and transceiver. Could be, I believe it could be a double transceiver required in such cases. So this is an idea for a startup in IoT. Okay. We have 2 minutes for more questions. Or if you'd like, I suggest we leave some minutes for the end to open a debate with all of us participating. Okay, good. Ziad, please.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ziad Mustani, I'm CEO of SNDS. First, what brought to my attention one thing when Billy was talking about the company, he said SA and S. So it reminded me of a story. I was in the 4th year of engineering, and I was working on car alarms as a hobby, as a way to make some pocket money. And then I was thinking of starting my own company because I graduated in 89, but 89 wasn't 88 actually. It wasn't a good time to find a job. The situation was very unstable, and there was war at the time. So I figured I'm going to start a company, I'm going to call it Security and Automation Systems. And when I graduated, I had already this company registered as SNDS, and then after that I was taking my master's in business administration, and then one of the courses, marketing. The first thing was choose your company, something easy to, the name of the company is something easy to remember. So I said to myself, oops, this did not work well, and today is the proof. Anyway, what we do in SNDS, we make controllers for generators, we make controllers for elevators. We have a complete solution for elevators. We develop the controller from scratch. We do the design, the prototype, the testing of the prototype. We do the final layout, and the actual manufacturing is also done locally. This was my idea to begin with. I mean, this was a dream of making a product, a high-tech product that is made in Lebanon and to be sold as such, and to be completely manufactured in Lebanon. And in a way, on top of employing engineers to do the development, we can also employ some blue-collar operators to run the whole operation. And the operation is based in Chile. And this way we had a chance to offer some jobs for the locals, even if they do not have a university education. And one other thing came to my mind from the panel that was before, and this is something that I always valued. Rodrigue brought up the issue of applied research, and this was something that I've always spoken for, as opposed to fundamental research. And I know universities usually and professors would like to go to fundamental research. Unfortunately, the local companies are not at the level to benefit from fundamental research. But for us, applied research is something that we can definitely benefit from. We've had some very successful stories. One was with Azid. We actually worked together to develop further existing algorithms to control the speed of a motor on an induction and permanent magnet motor for an elevator application. This was a very successful collaboration between us and Azid. And we also hope to build on that with other universities. So applied research is very important. We can benefit from it. Hopefully in the future, when our industries evolve further, we can start benefiting from fundamental research, because until now, fundamental research usually is benefiting multinational companies outside Lebanon. And students who work in the field of fundamental research end up continuing the research abroad, and this is good for the student, it's good for the heirs of the country, but it does not immediately benefit the economy in translating this research into manufactured products. We also collaborated with Novatec in creating some enclosures for our products, and this was also successful. So to tackle the issue of IoT, we have in generator controllers, and this is targeted for the mobile industry, where remote monitoring is essential. We have controllers that we have been manufacturing for more than 20 years, and we have included connectivity to those controllers more than 10 years ago. And this IoT has evolved throughout the years, and now we are at a level where we are gathering tons of data and sending it, and the analytics are done on the cloud. And we started introducing some analytics on the controller itself. For instance, for the mobile industry, they have a big issue with fuel theft. So we have, with one of our customers, we have collaborated and we have created an algorithm to detect fuel theft. And I'm not talking fuel theft in the hundreds of liters per se. In 1 hour, we are talking about a small function in the fuel tube, and to make it unnoticeable for the operator. This algorithm will detect it after 1 hour, because analytics are done locally, and it will send a trap or an alarm for the mobile operator. And we have also collaborated with Alpha on developing another algorithm also for fuel theft. And these we would like to always build on. And one of the features that we add to all our controllers is the ability to upgrade the firmware remotely, because this is a very dynamic industry. Demands are always changing. Sometimes you come up with new ideas, and since sites are mostly remote and unreachable easily, and they are numerous, and we are not talking about just Lebanon, we are talking about Africa, we are talking about the Gulf, we are talking about the Far East. So this ability to remotely upgrade the firmware and do it in a bulk manner has opened the door to keeping the product always up to date. As for elevator controllers, which we also sell in the region, Africa and India, in Latin America, we have tried to introduce IoT, and we did it many years ago. Unfortunately, there is no awareness on the market, and we could not create the demand for this kind of connectivity. So, and this is why it did not evolve a lot. It could be that the cost of connectivity was initially high. Now with LoRaWAN, we see that there is an opportunity with the marginal cost, additional cost of the controller, to have it as standard, given that there is an infrastructure where this controller is installed. Regarding, one question that was brought up by the lady, training. We take trainees every year, and we always struggle with the idea of finding them a project to do. And we always like them to work on hardware first, and then we can continue this hardware with another training session with either the same person or a different trainee to develop the code for this hardware. But if we have somebody presenting herself or himself for training with an idea, then this would be ideal for us. We are ready to receive them and help them develop their own idea in terms of hardware and later on in terms of software. Basically, thank you. This is what I think of.
Thank you, Ziad. I would like to ask you something. What is approximately the average data rate required for a control and monitor of an elevator, for example? Are we talking about kilobit per second, less, more?
No, we are not. The elevator is something that is very slow in terms of data generation. And what we need is to know if there's a failure, and this can wait. We can send data every 10 seconds, every 1 minute even, and the data we are sending are a few bytes. It's enough to describe the whole status of the elevator and whether there's a failure. Now, if we're going to go into analytics, and if we're going to include also the drive of the elevator into this equation, then we will have a little bit more data, and we will need a little bit more analytics, which will be done also locally. So there is also no need for big amounts of data. So with a few bytes every 1 minute is enough.
So the LoRaWAN is really suited for elevator markets.
Definitely. I cannot say the same about generators, because of generators, usually more data is needed. More data is needed about the load, the temperature of the engine, the oil pressure, the fuel consumption. If there's a hybrid installation, then we need to know what's happening with the sun, how much it's generating, if there is a wind generator as well. So the generators, usually the requirements of the mobile operators require that we have a connection not slower than 3G.
Oh, not slower than 3G?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not going to see a lot of IoT monitoring devices on generators in the coming future?
It depends on the application. If it's a residential generator or an industrial generator, you can use IoT because first person or the residents, they are not willing to pay the cost of 3G connectivity.
Right.
And the same applies for industry. Whereas the mobile operators, since they are the providers of the servers, then they are using their own infrastructure in a way. So it's much easier to implement it for mobile operations, but we can still find it for other operations like residential or industrial, fortunately.
Okay. But still, even if it's well suited in terms of data rate, if LoRa is extremely suited for the elevator monitoring market, you still think we need to wait a couple of years before awareness is raised in this, let's say, in this segment. So not all elevators are ready to integrate LoRa monitoring devices.
Exactly. Usually we are working with elevator builders, with the companies that install and that put in place the elevators. And until now, we haven't seen this kind of demand. We have offered it. We have the solution. We have one customer in Turkey who used it. We have one customer in Syria who used it. In Lebanon, there was no interest at all. Outside Lebanon, in the Gulf, there was no interest at all. The same goes for India, unfortunately. The same goes for Latin America. Now we are going to participate in Interlift in Augsburg, which is an exhibition for elevator components. We will see how this evolves, because this exhibition happens once every other year, so we will see if there is more, because even companies, they are offering it, but no one is asking for it, so it's still a problem.
Thank you for clarifying. We can open up discussions to any guest, anyone. Yes, please. Yara? Sorry. Let's see, there's a person. Okay, sorry.
Hassan Mala, network engineer. I work for UNDP at the University of Justice. We are talking here about electronic devices, the IoT devices. I want to ask, would these devices are installed in many places, would they be affected by lightning? If yes, what's the best way to protect them from lightning?
Usually lighting is always an issue. If there is no proper approach regarding surge arresters and lightning rods, it's an area that is very sensitive. Talking very sensitive area that is mostly rocky and hilly. So these would normally attract lightning. For us, we are on the back end of every piece of equipment. Usually, the last place that the surge reaches is the controller. It's a low voltage controller, not on the grid. But by induction, sometimes we can be affected by lightning. Usually, we protect the controls by using transient voltage suppressors on all inputs that could be susceptible to lightning surges.
I would like to ask Mr. Fadi how you are helping people to develop and to test electric boats, but you provide or will you provide certification services for hardware for electric devices?
We do not provide certification services ourselves. So for the regulatory environment, different products can be self-certified. So products that we build ourselves, we send them to NAMCO, which is based in multiple places, and we send them to San Diego where they get certified, so we get CE and other approvals. But we do not provide certification. And in terms of regulatory environment, certification, we're doing certification on products today. And in reality, not being certified or having certification tag on our product, we have not lost a single sale anywhere in the world because we're not certified. Because when you are building an innovative product, you're not competing on cost, you're competing on innovation, on creativity, not on a product that's consumer or cost. And also, another element of that, we focus on B2B based products rather than B2C, which is much easier to deal with than B2C. And B2C is a lot more expensive, costly, challenging, and you have competition from China in the B2C market.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me, but I add that in Lebanon we have III, Industrial Research Institute, which can do certifications for many things, including environmental. They can also do certification for mechanical and electrical components.
Great. We're exactly on time. Thank you a lot for this outstanding panel. Thanks a lot. And I think the most important conclusion is that the answer is yes. We can design, manufacture, and test IoT devices in Lebanon. And we can even produce them in Lebanon. So this is really great news. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Brian, Joseph Abalola, Elias Bouchalani, Ziad Boustani, and Fadi Daoud. And the afternoon, we will listen to the second keynote speaker. We'll have a session. Many of us are waiting to know the winners of the hackathon, and we have a third panel. So don't leave. Stay tuned. Inspiring ideas will come in the afternoon. And don't forget to tweet using the hashtag IoT Lab USG. We are all invited to the lunch break now. We'll be back at 2 p.m.